Title: Stories They Don't Teach in Schools, Episode 3. Subtitle: The Murder of Emmett Till, the Cry That Shook America. They tried to silence a boy's scream, but they didn't know that scream would echo through generations. They didn't know it would ignite a movement. This is the story of Emmett Till, a story they don't teach the way it deserves to be told. The year was 1955. Emmett Till was just 14 years old, a bright, playful boy from Chicago who loved jokes, loved life, and loved his mama. That summer, his mother, Mamie Till, decided to send him to Mississippi to visit family, a trip that was supposed to be safe. But Mississippi wasn't like Chicago. There were rules there, silent rules, dangerous rules, rules that black people were expected to follow, or else. On August 24th, Emmett walked into Bryant's grocery and meat market in Money, Mississippi. A white woman, Carolyn Bryant, was behind the counter. What happened next depends on who tells the story. Some said he whistled. Some said he smiled. But the truth is, it didn't matter. In 1955, in the Jim Crow South, a black boy didn't have to do anything wrong to die. Word spread fast. For nights later, as the cicadas sang in the dark, two white men, Roy Bryant and J.W. Millam, showed up at the home where Emmett was staying. They dragged him from his bed at gunpoint. His cousin screamed. His uncle begged. They didn't care. They threw Emmett into a pickup truck and drove off into the night. What happened next was pure horror. They beat him until his face was unrecognizable. They shot him, and then they tied a cotton gin fan around his neck with barbed wire and dumped his body into the Tallahatchie River. 3 days later, his body was found, bloated, beaten, broken, but Mamie Till refused to let her son die in silence. When Emmett's body was returned to Chicago, she made a decision that would shake the nation. She opened the casket. She wanted the world to see what they did to her boy. More than 50,000 people came to view Emmett's body. Newspapers carried the image around the world. It was a face that could not be denied, a reminder of the brutality of racism. People wept. People got angry. And something began to shift. The trial came quickly. The two white men responsible were arrested, but this was Mississippi in 1955. An all-white jury took less than an hour to find them not guilty. They walked out of court smiling. Later, they even confessed the murder in a paid magazine interview, knowing they could never be tried again. Justice was never served, but the turning point had already come. Emmett's death lit a fire. Just months later, a woman named Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama. When asked why, she said she thought of Emmett Till. His death was a spark that helped ignite the civil rights movement. Mamie Till became an unbreakable force, traveling the country, telling her son's story, demanding that the world remember his name. She refused to be silent in a country that expected her to cry quietly and disappear. Emmett Till was only 14. He had a future. He had dreams. And all of it was stolen because of hate. For decades, this story was softened in classrooms, the cruelty edited out, the truth buried beneath history lessons that skipped the pain. But this isn't just a story about a boy. It's a story about how the truth of one child's death forced a nation to look in the mirror. And even now, decades later, his name still matters. His scream still echoes. And the movement he helped awaken is still fighting.